Cooperating with the inevitable. From book How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Part 1. When I was a little boy, I was playing with some of my friends in the attic of an old abandoned log house in northwest Missouri. As I climbed down out of the attic, I rested my feet on a window sill for a moment and then jumped. I had a ring on my left forefinger, and as I jumped, the ring caught on a nail head and tore off my finger. I screamed. I was terrified. I was positive I was going to die. But after the hand healed, I never worried about it for one split second. What would have been the use? I accepted the inevitable. Now, I often go for a month at a time without even thinking about the fact that I have only three fingers and a thumb on my left hand. A few years ago, I met a man who was running a freight elevator in one of the downtown office buildings in New York. I noticed that his left hand had been cut off at the wrist. I asked him if the loss of that hand bothered him. He said, "Oh, no, I hardly ever think about it. I'm not married, and the only time I ever think about it is when I try to thread a needle." It is astonishing how quickly we can accept almost any situation if we have to and adjust ourselves to it and forget about it. I often think of an inscription on the ruins of 15th century cathedral in Amsterdam, Holland. This inscription says a Flemish this inscription says in Flemish, "It is so, it cannot be otherwise." As you and I march across the decades of time, we are going to meet a lot of unpleasant so situations that are so. They cannot be otherwise. We have our choice. We can either accept them as inevitable and adjust ourselves to them, or we can ruin our lives with rebellion and maybe end up with a nervous breakdown. Here is a bit of sage advice from one of my favorite philosophers, William James. "He willing to have it so," he said. "Acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. Elizabeth Connolly of 2840 NE 49th Avenue, Portland, Oregon, had to find that out, had to find that out the hard way. Here is a letter that she wrote me recently on the very day that America was celebrating the victory of our armed forces in North Africa. The letter says, I received a telegram from the War Department. My nephew, the person I loved most, was missing in action. A short time later, another telegram arrived. A short time later, another telegram arrived saying he was dead.